Welcome to Shelby Stitcher. This is Joan Parker. I'm going to show how I attach the ends of the binding to each other now that I've gotten the binding sewed on all four corners around my little quilt top. The first thing I'm going to do is trim this edge off so that it's straight. Then I'm going to cut off a little piece of my binding that was left over, just a small piece that I'm going to open up and use this for my measuring. I cut this at 2 1/4 inches wide. Normally, for larger quilts that I have a thicker batting in, I would cut it at 2 1/2 inch. I'm going to pin this edge aligned up with this end of my tail and with the top of the quilt. Then I'm going to take my binding that I just finished, and I'm going to come down here and I'm going to trim this off at the 2 1/4 inch mark. Now what that's going to do is it's going to give me a 2 1/4 inch edge that I can use as a guide. So I'm going to take my 6-inch ruler and I'm going to measure 2 1/4 inches from the tail of my piece that I ended with as I came around the corner. Then I'm going to take my ruler and I'm going to draw a straight line to sew on the tail. And then I'm going to open this end up and I'm going to match them up on both sides so that the squares are laying directly on top of each other. I'm going to pin it in the middle first, and then I'm going to pin both ends. Again, I'm lining up those fabrics perfectly, and I'm also going to be lining them up on this end. So now I'm going to sew on that diagonal line. Now I'm cutting off the beginning tails of that short seam, and now I'm cutting 1/4 inch away from where I just sewed. Now I'm going to iron that seam open with my fingernails, just gently pressing down on it. It is on the bias, but you can be firm if you hold on the center part there and don't stretch it. Now I'm folding it in half, and I take a pin and I pin down the seam where the seam allowances are touching the other side of the binding, to keep those together and make sure that they stay flat. Now I hold it out and I see that yes, it is the right size. And now I'm starting again. We're overlapping a little where I finished my sewing previously. And now I'm just sewing at a little more than 1/4 inch seam allowance to sew down the binding that we just connected the ends of. I'm going to stitch over where I started, just 4 or 5 stitches. And then I'll cut that thread, and then I'll hold it up to show you that yes, indeed, it is lying flat and it did fit perfectly. If you like this video, please like and subscribe. Thank you for watching.